So we've got a couple of our moorings ready to go out, with a pickup buoy coming to the top and then the strop coming down to the bottom, shackled on and swivels, and then we've just got to shackle that onto the bottom of the chain that's already out there. Same with this one, come with the boat. So we've got a new strop and shackles to the bottom, and obviously this one we've purchased just to make up one either side, and then we've got a little bit of a rope to go in between. So my two little dinghy mooring setup, we're going to go and moor up on those two blue buoys over there, make sure they're working. But yeah, we shall see how this disastrous event unfolds. So our two boats have come out. I just literally rowed out in the end just because it was easier, and I wanted to see if I could row against these tides and what they were like. So I rowed out alright, and basically I trapped the towing boat and my boat around the buoy and went around it just to make a quick and easy sort of anchor point, just to secure us here, hold them together. One reason I actually think I've left the boat hook on the launching pontoon. I think I forgot to pick it up when my haste to jump into the boat. But yeah, we're wrapped round, so I'm just going to try and secure our 30-foot rope between the two buoys that exist currently, and then I'm going to look at replacing our two buoys that we got to replace them with, and the new chain that's there. So it's just I didn't want to risk all that weighted chain and me in the boat, and I wanted to play out with both dinghies how they worked. So which we are. So now we've just got to wait for the tide to come in, go out, and then we drop to this mud. Got a few speedboats out at the moment on the bit. So we're round to the second buoy, and as you can see I've got a line going from where I've dropped my new buoy legs to the old buoy, and a line coming across to just about here. So we're just waiting for the tide to go down a bit more so we can inspect all the chains properly. But as you can see, we're sort of getting on with the job. The one thing I didn't allow for is once I took the weight of the chains out of the boats, that the Honda engine wouldn't have anything to counterbalance itself, so I'm going to have to sort that out before we go back in. But we're making progress. The chains on the bottom are really thinned out, really worn away. I'll try and show you a bit later as to why obviously I've had to come out and change these mooring chains, and why it's so important to check them first of all. So here we go, just a little bit of reasoning as to why the chain gets checked, because you can see how thick it fucking was, and look how little of it there is around the edges now. It's so worn. So obviously you're strapping your boat up to that, and taking a big risk if you're not checking your mooring chains. So it really didn't take very long to be beached. See, because I'm now going to be beached until around sort of 9 o'clock tonight, I think. But yeah, you can see all the anchor chain placed really. Yeah, that's that one. The other one is behind us there. So we're still out waiting for it's pretty much the lowest the tide's got now. We've just got to wait for it to come back up now. Both new buoys installed on their chains. One here, one there. Everything's muddy. But we're just waiting for that water to rise back up again so I can get back over there. This is why I opted not to take Max out with me the other day in case this happened. But I'm now out here for I've been out here about 4 or 5 hours already. Yeah, I've got to wait till about 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight to get back to shore. Yeah, not long off dark, but the water's only just starting to rise back up. That's obviously the middle line, and then I've got to get all the way back to there. I might try and get to down here, but if not, back where I come from. It's a bit windy down here today, but while we're shipwrecked in the old shipwreck, we're just using boards to get out while the tide comes in. Let's just get across the soft mud. It's a bit firmer there, and then the tide's coming up around us. Literally, what, half an hour to an hour too late. I could have walked out, mounted the engine, and then drove it back a bit. Now I've got to get the dinghy and try and get the dinghy blown up, the engine out in time, because I can't use the boards. I don't know where I'm going. So we're going down across the marshland, down past the sign and the poles, and that's the spot of land there. And there is a spot of land to the side of the boat. Oh, but she's sitting to the right hand side of it at the moment, up nice and straight, but we want her to sit flat when the tide goes down, and we need to move it back onto the mooring behind it. But it might not be until August now, because I've missed it by about an hour too late, and I couldn't get down 2 days before when I had a decent tide during the day. Boat life, eh? So I was just waiting for the tide to come back up after being down here this morning for the second tide. It's not going to be as high, but I'm just hoping it's enough to float her up straight and me to move her a bit further out and away from the shipwreck that she was sat in. As you can see, that's the back of the boat. Either side of the mud is obviously the sides of the boat, and then the front of the boat is up there. God knows how long it's been there, but obviously we were sat right on top of it when we first tried to get out to a mooring, and you can see our mooring chains behind here, and now obviously they're too long, because as the tide's coming up they're stretching miles, which is obviously part of the problem. We got connected round the first one, the one that's lying down nearest us, but then we drifted in to here, so we just want to get it flat, and then we need to shorten those mooring chains, and then we can secure it out with the rest of the boats out in line. Obviously every day's a school day, and it's taken us a few to get to grips with it, but it's all good fun. Lovely, beautiful sunny day. So we've managed to get rid of one rope, so we've got to be a lot closer out, because we're now down to one less rope to the mooring, so this should hopefully hold us out. I managed to use the engine in reverse, and like I've pulled through the rope, disconnected the rope we did have, and gone onto the other loop, so we've now got loop and loop onto one mooring at the stern of the boat. So I think we'll call it a partial success. So yeah, I think today will be a partial success. We managed to get it out. We've gone one rope closer to the mooring, so we've had to extend our land mooring, and I've moved the anchor further this way to try and keep the boat facing up and down with the tide rather than against it. And more importantly, what we've done is moved it away from the shipwreck that was along there. It was sat in that channel, or sat off the silt in the side, so I'm just hoping it's sitting this way, it should fare a little bit better, so we'll have to wait and see. So that was the end of the shipwreck, the back of the shipwreck. You can see the grass bank starting to come up. Now we're sitting that way onto it now, with a rope coming back to land here, a mooring chain off that side, our anchor off that side, and the mooring chain off on two cleats at the rear of the boat. So I just want to see how much of the shipwreck there is to see. But I do hope it will sit fairly straight now. Now it's there, it would be lovely if it sit straight. Well, it's the day, hopefully, to move out and away from the old wreck. As you can see, our mooring buoys are now in situ correctly, with the with the pickup line going between the two mooring buoys. So yeah, the old mooring buoy for Snock, and then the new one we've added. So we're not obviously doing the mooring lines to the top of that buoy. We've got shackles and rope underneath both of the moorings that will pick up from the bottom of the swivel on the bottom of the buoys. Then we'll hopefully move Snock Feckin out to stay in a permanent home and away from this wreck. So my little outboard, electric outboard dinghy, a rubber dinghy, pump it up. I've got oars and a little electric outboard just to get out to the mooring once the tide comes up. But that's that. Still a little bit longer on the tide. Alright, so we're taking a whole host of electrics out to the boat to get installed. I've measured up a lot of the cables and stuff and made some adjustments to some of this kit, but hopefully today is going to be a bit of a install day. So you see we've got wind instruments, orca, new radio, lots of other bits to fit and sort out. So it should be fun. So we're heading out, fully laden. I'm just behind that other one there. So I'm just concentrating on getting onto the mooring now.